Ladies and dudes, I got an unknown question to ask you. Does any of you want to go underwater and become a fish? As for me, nah, I don't want to become a fish at all. Well, if I do become a fish, what the heck I should do in underwater? I think I'd rather stay on the surface where I belong. If I ever want to become something, could I have 4 metal arms in my back instead? Well, if you already know which character I'm talking about for the last several months ago or so. You get the picture. Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobub1987. This is my review for today, and today's review, ladies and dudes, yes! We are finally heading back to movie reviews at long last. Oh, heck yeah! I guess everybody wants to know is, what is my next movie review of the day? Well, we're heading on to my next movie review that featured in the 60s. And it featured our favorite comedian of all time named Don Knotts. I hope I got that dude's name right. And yes, he is the guy who did play Barney in the Andy Griffith Show. And yeah, I did hear about the show, or heard about it, and I did see a couple of episode parts here and there, but I haven't watched the whole thing. And yes, he's pretty darn funny and a very good supporting role. But now I gotta do a movie review where he played the lead character in there. And yes, this lead character is all about he's gonna become a fish. Why? Why do you have to become a fish in a movie? And yes, it's a fish out of water type of film. Something that nobody had never talked about. And yeah, it did have a sad note in there at the end of the movie, which I don't want to spoil at all. So anyway, for my next movie review is The Incredible Mr. Limpet. Yeah, weird title to say, huh, ladies and dudes? I guess everybody wants to know what's my main thoughts about the movie. That featured live action and 2D hand-drawn animation. Since it is one of the most underrated type of films of all time, which I wish they should have made a little bit more of for many years to come, I guess. So anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my 202 movie review of The Incredible Mr. Limpet. And yes, this is one of the movie reviews that really am hoping to do for many years to come and all that stuff. Well, you guys get the picture. But let's head on to my movie review anyway. So, the story is all about, it takes place in the 1940s. You see a really cool dude named Henry Limpet who's living in a very boring life at land. He's doing his job as a bookkeeper. He's married to a lovely lady named Betsy. He had a really cool friend named George who's now a sailor. And let's just say he's just an unhappy dude who's living an unhappy life. And he really wants to get to know what another world is like that doesn't feature the land that much. All he ever wanted is to go underwater and become a fish. Something that he dreamed of for many, many years. And yes, one day his wife Betsy, and George are gonna spend time together on Coney Island for lunch, and try to have a good time, like in the summer or so. There was a part where Henry did look underwater at the bridge, and he saw some type of magical thing to happen underwater, and he start to grant a wish that he wants to become a fish. And yes, that mysterious thing happened. Henry went underwater, and some type of glow came by out of nowhere, and he started to become a fish. And this is where his underwater adventure is about to begin. That's it. That's all I could say about the main plot of the story of The Incredible Mr. Flippin'. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? Well, to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I really did enjoy this movie. This is one of the best underrated films I have ever watched. Strike that, reverse it. This is one of the most best movies I have ever seen that take place in the 1960s. It's a very good movie to watch, and truly an underrated classic. I will say, it had a very good storyline for the most part. The characters are likable. For both live action and 2D hand-drawn animation. It had a very nice score. It has some good songs. I will say the live action stuff is fine for the most part, but I love the 2D hand-drawn animation more. And yes, this movie did have a very sad note for it. Something I don't want to spoil. So anyway, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my strongest points and the weakest points of The Incredible Mr. Flippin'. I will say for the strongest points for this movie, I got a tie, just a tie, between Don Knotts' performance as Henry Lippin and also the 2D hand-drawn animation. I do praise Don Knotts' performance as Harry Flippin'. And I will say his storyline was pretty well done and pretty well detailed. And I really like a story where there's a human being who wants to go on a brand new life that he had never discovered before. Something the human world doesn't have, I guess. And yeah, he's really funny, he's hilarious, and he's just a very good character to watch. What else I could say about Don Knotts' performance as Harry Flippin', and also the 2D hand-drawn animation for this film is also pretty well done, pretty well detailed. Since I love 2D hand-drawn animation, I really want it back on the big screen whenever it'll come in the main future. I mean, it's incredible. I really love the 2D hand-drawn animation that took place underwater. It was pretty well done, pretty well detailed. It's very darn colorful. And I'd rather go to a world that has 2D hand-drawn animation in it. What else I could say? So for the two-way tie for the strongest point is truly the 2D hand-drawn animation and Mr. Knotts' performance as Henry Flippin'. I will say for my weakest points of the movie is truly the live action stuff. There are some parts here and there I do like that featured live action stuff, that came from in the surface. I do like the part with the military people and somebody I don't want to talk about. I better put my arm down for it. Hard for me to say about live action stuff. I will say it was fine as it is, but there's some parts I like here and there. well, let's say the live action stuff can be boring and uninteresting, or we're trying to get to the interesting parts of the movie. That's for sure. So that's all I could say about live action stuff. I will say there's some parts here and there that's kind of fine, but there's some parts here and there that's kind of boring and uninteresting. What else I could say about it? So that's the only weakest point I found with this movie. So let's head on to the characters. I'll just say one character I love the best, and that's Harry Flippin, played by Don Knotts. I hope I got that dude's name right. I freaking love this character to death. I will say he had a very good storyline. He has a great personality, great attitude. He's a really kind and sweet human being, or also a fish. And I really love the part where he's a really good character who's fished out of water. A guy who wants to go on a brand new world that he had never discovered before. And he really wants to know what being a fish is all about. And yes, I guess everybody wants to know is, what do you think of Mr. Flippin's powers? You know, every time he open up his mouth and he's going to do some type of scream. I have no idea. It's crazy. How the heck did he get that type of power that came from in his mouth? Beats me. And also, I really like the character development and chemistry that he made friends with this really cool looking crab who has a very mad personality. And I forgot what he called him. Some type of fish or something. Yeah, I really like the part where he and the crab were really good friends and they get along pretty darn well during the times of the film. If you know what I mean. I guess the ladyfish is pretty likable too, since she's not all that bad once you get to know her. Yeah, hard for me to say about Henry Limpet. I will say he's a really good character overall. And now let's head on to my final thoughts of The Incredible Mr. Flippin. Overall, The Incredible Mr. Flippin is a pretty darn good movie to watch, and truly one of the most underrated films I have ever seen that came from in the 60s. I will say it had a pretty good storyline for the most part. The characters are likable. I will say the live action stuff is okay. The 2D hand-drawn animation is awesome. I do like the songs. I do like the score. And yes, it had a sad ending in there that I don't want to spoil. That's for sure. So I decided to give this film an 8 out of 10. Please check out this movie to believe it. If you guys are a big fan of movies that's all about fish out of water type of story thing. If you guys get the picture. So that's my whole entire movie review of The Incredible Mr. Limpet. I hope you enjoyed this movie review, and join me next time for more movie reviews to come. For May, hopefully, I will do the Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, and also the Spider-Man films. Both Tobey Maguire's films and Andrew Garfield's films. Whenever I can get there. And yes, ladies and dudes, I know what you guys are trying to tell me. Are you going to see Liam Neeson's next new film called Memory? Part of me wants to, part of me doesn't want to, but I'm not so sure. Well, I gotta take care of my own stuff first before I make a decision. well, something I don't want to explain too much. But I gotta keep it to myself, no matter what. So we'll wait and see what happens. So be prepared for my next movie reviews to come. And I'll see you guys later, and sayonara.